Greetings all, and welcome to the Buddha's Invitation. Yet another installment done while driving. I want to introduce the weekly question. Slight preamble before the question. One characteristic of the Buddha's teaching is that he always entertained questions. He didn't just shoot people down by saying, I've seen the truth and you must accept what I have to say. He always took time to talk to people. Doesn't mean he didn't have his own vision and didn't think that it was the best way. But he took time to explain to people. And he also knew people weren't always that people aren't at the same level. And level might not even be the best way to say it. People aren't in the same circumstances either. There are monks. There are, people who have no possessions. There are people who are householders. There are kings, and so on and so forth. So, that is sort of the one template that we have, is that we should engage in questioning. And secondly, I think that the Buddha's teaching is not a teaching that we follow kind of line by line like a computer code, but the Buddha's teaching is trying to bring us into accord with reality, and that takes discernment on our part. That's why we have to develop wisdom. And questioning is a means of doing that. So here, finally, is the weekly question, and it kind of has two parts. Should we practice Mettā? That is, should we practice loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and inclusiveness or equanimity? Should we open our hearts to that experience and to that practice? And the next question, kind of a logical follow-up, is how do we do that? How do we do that in a world that has injustice? No matter how much injustice there is, how do you, when faced with injustice, when faced with power-hungry people, with people who are clearly not interested in Mettā, they're not interested in seeing all people as friends and brothers and sisters, but rather as objects maybe to be conquered or manipulated. How do we practice loving kindness in those situations? That's a real question I have, and I think the more responses we get to that, and the more we think about it, and the more we listen to each other, the better we'll be at coming up with a practice that is able to be loving and kind and etc. etc. So I'm getting waved on here by let's see. Okay, all right, so that is the question. I hope it was coherent, and I really genuinely I just love to hear what people have to say, because obviously I learn, and I think we all learn. Anyone who is participating, we can all share in that and kind of lift each other up that way. Peace.